Shri Guru Charana Kamala Kevaladhi Sama Shri Guru
All glories to Shri Guru and Guru The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. By him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, please be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Gopi Jana Vallabha Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So continuing our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, answers by citing the Lord's version, text 23. Pratyadishtam maya tatra. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatam vyasam tato jayam udirayat nashtaprayeshvabhacheshu nityam bhagavata seva bhagavatuttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishchaki. So let's try again. Pratyadishtam maya tatra. Tvayi karma vimohite. Tapo me hridayam sakshad. Atmaham tapaso naka. Pratyadishtam maya tatra. Tvayi karma vimohite. Tapo me hridayam sakshat. Atmaham tapaso naga. Pratyadishtam maya tatra. Tvayi karma vimohite. Tapo me hridayam sakshat. Atmaham tapaso naga.
pratyadishtam maya tatra
pratyadishtam maya tatra
tvayi karma vimohite
tvayi karma vimohite
tapo me hridayam sakshat
tapo me hridayam sakshat
admaham tapaso naga.
atmaham tapaso naga.
pratyadishtam maya tatra tvayi karma vimohite
Karma vimohite
tapo me hridayam sakshad
tapo me hridayam sakshat
atmaham tapaso nagha.
admaham tapaso naga.
Pratyadishtam maya tatra
Tadishtam maya
tvayi karma vimohite
me karma vimohite
tapo me hridayam sakshat
tapo me hridayam sakshat
atmaham tapaso nagha.
admaham tapaso naga.
Pratyadishtam maya tatra
Yajishtam maya
tvayi karma vimohite
me karma vimohite
tapo me hridayam sakshat
tapo me hridayam sakshat
atmaham tapaso nagha.
aham tapaso naga.
pratyadishtam maya tatra
pratyadishtam maya tatra
tvayi karma vimohite
tvayi karma vimohite
tapo me hridayam sakshat
tapo me hridayam sakshat
atmaham tapaso naga.
atmaham tapaso naga. Word for word translation. Pratyadishtam, ordered. Maya, by me. Tatra, because of. Tvai, unto you. Karma, duty. Vimohite, being perplexed. Tapa, penance. Me, me. Hridayam, heart. Sakshat, directly. Atma, life and soul. Aham, myself. Tapasaha, of one who is engaged in penance. Anagha, O sinless one. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. O sinless Brahma, you may know from me that it was I who first ordered you to undergo penance when you were perplexed in your duty. Such penance is my heart and soul, and therefore penance and I are non-different. Purport. The penance by which one can see the personality of Godhead face to face is to be understood as devotional service to the Lord and nothing else, because only by discharging devotional service in transcendental love can one approach the Lord. Such penance is the internal potency of the Lord and is non-different from Him. Such acts of internal potency are exhibited by non-attachment for material enjoyment. The living entities are encaged in the conditions of material bondage because of their propensity for overlordship. But by engagement in the devotional service of the Lord, one becomes detached from this enjoying spirit. The devotees automatically become detached from worldly enjoyment, and this detachment is the result of perfect knowledge. Therefore, the penance of devotional service includes knowledge and detachment, and that is the manifestation of the transcendental potency. One cannot enjoy material illusory prosperity if he desires to return home, back to Godhead. One who has no information of the transcendental bliss in the association of the Lord foolishly desires to enjoy this temporary material happiness. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that if someone sincerely wants to see the Lord and at the same time wants to enjoy this material world, he is considered to be a fool only. One who wants to remain here in the material world for material enjoyment has no business entering into the eternal kingdom of God. The Lord favors such a foolish devotee by snatching all that he may possess in the material world. If such a foolish devotee of the Lord tries to recoup his position, then the merciful Lord again snatches away all that he may have possessed. By such repeated failures in material prosperity, he becomes very unpopular with his family members and friends. In the material world, the family members and friends honor persons who are very successful in accumulating wealth by any means. The foolish devotee of the Lord is thus put into forcible penance by the grace of the Lord, and at the end the devotee becomes perfectly happy, being engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore, penance and devotional service of the Lord, either by voluntary submission or by being forced by the Lord, is necessary for attaining perfection. And thus such penance is the internal potency of the Lord. One cannot, however, be engaged in the penance of devotional service without being completely free from all sins. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, only a person who is completely free from all reactions of sins can engage himself in the worship of the Lord. Brahmaji was sinless, and therefore he faithfully discharged the advice of the Lord, tapa, tapa. And the Lord, being satisfied with him, awarded him the desired result. Therefore only love and penance combined can please the Lord, and thus one is able to attain his complete mercy. He directs the sinless, and the sinless devotee attains the highest perfection of life. Translation: O sinless Brahma, you may know from me that it was I who first ordered you to undergo penance when you were perplexed in your duty. Such penance is my heart and soul, and therefore penance and I are non-different. Maharaj, we'd love to hear your thoughts on this text and purport.
Confirmation that the original person is Vishnu or Krishna, and he's speaking to Brahma. This is very important because Darwin, his theory is that advanced humanoids, they develop by long period of time and evolutionary processes, and they start off like ape men or lower, and they develop higher intelligence. But here we see it's not like that at all. The most intelligent, the most exalted person is Brahma, and he's speaking from the very beginning about what he saw, and there was nothing there. Nothing but the Lord's energy. The Lord gave that energy. So, this point about evolution, it's important because if you accept the theory that humans, advanced human civilization has come from a source like monkeys or lower species ready to come up, then you may be inclined to accept also the theory that that there was an invasion and the more exalted persons came to the Vedic place And that's actually a more advanced civilization. So these different theories, they don't have any standing in the Vedic literature. We find that the Vedic times are so much broader. Instead of dealing with thousands of years, we're dealing with millions and billions of years, trillions of years. And they may say that they took that, there was some evolutionary process that went on for a long time. But there's no evidence that it was less evolved. Rather, they were living in the upper planetary system. In this universe, Brahma, he lives in Brahmaloka, Satyaloka. And so the lifetimes there are very long, 311 trillion years. That would be difficult for modern day man to accept that there's someone living for such a long time. How can his body live so long? How can it keep working? They don't know, but the Vedas say that they have subtle bodies, more advanced bodies. And so therefore they're able to exist for a long time. And they have such great knowledge because they're hearing from authorities and they're living through so many different epochs, ages. So again, we're satisfied that we're getting to hear the knowledge as it comes from the Lord. We're not hearing something that we're not sure if we can believe it or not. We can have full confidence in this. This is the Supreme Lord. And it's undefeatable. How can you defeat that there was Brahma? Brahma is still living. If one has the means, he can see Brahma. Brahma came when King Priyavrata or Prince Priyavrata was being asked to take over the management of the human society. And his father was there, Manu and Priyavrata, and Brahma came also, because there was some question. Narada Muni was suggesting that Priyavrata take sannyas, but Manu was thinking if he takes sannyas, who's going to manage the world? So Brahma came and settled it. It's not that these things are in the past and now they don't exist. They're still existing. And Brahma's still doing his duty. He's still organizing the universe. He has his own planet, his own residents there, devotees. Like he dealt with the difficulty of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu had performed so much penance and austerities to please Brahma, that Brahma was obliged to give him benedictions. So Brahma handled it as best he could. Difficult task. But it worked out because they're not afraid, Brahma's not afraid to admit to Krishna, to Vishnu, that they're limited and that they need help. Sometimes we think we don't need any help. We can do it all ourselves. We can figure everything out. But actually, no, we can't. We need help. Just to do even basic things like stay out of insanity. And we have to be very careful. if we take intoxication, the result may be that we damage our delicate system and we may lose sanity. And that's a great loss, because sanity is one of the qualifications for becoming Krishna conscious. So we need help. And the ultimate helper is Krishna. Sridham Sarvabhutanam. He's the dearmost friend of everyone. And he takes care. And no one else can do it. Only Krishna, because he has perfect knowledge. Sometimes Brahma thought that how could Krishna appear as a little boy and play in Vrindavan? So he was bewildered by the Lord. But that he was not sad about that. He wasn't disturbed. He was very pleased. So we also should be happy when we're defeated, or shall we say, we're enlightened by the higher authorities, higher devotees, senior devotees. They help us in our spiritual life so that we can do a nice job and do our service, make advancement. Thank you.
Prabhupada had a very wonderful purport here. I like this point that he made in the beginning, he also made at the end. He says, the penance by which one can see the personality of Godhead face to face is to be understood as devotional service to the Lord and nothing else, because only by discharging devotional service in transcendental love can one approach the Lord. And at the end he said, therefore only love and penance combined can please the Lord, and thus one is able to attain His complete mercy. Love and penance. This brings up many thoughts in my mind. Firstly, I know traveling, doing book distribution, I've met many people of different faiths, and they say, why do you do all what you do? You just need to accept this and you'll be okay. You'll be saved. But then you ask, okay, you accept that, but then what do you do? What do you do after that? And if you examine their lives, it's mostly filled with austerities that they're saying that you don't have to perform, but they're performing these same austerities for material gains. So the pure devotee, because of his love and affection for the Lord, all of his austerities are directed towards the Lord. And this is showcased here by Brahma and highlighted by Prabhupada's purport that Lord Brahma, he heard this word tapa. So he underwent austerities, but he wasn't undergoing austerities just for the sake of doing austerities. He was doing it with the purpose to follow this instruction which was coming from the Lord and ultimately fulfill his life's mission, which is to be a servant of the Lord in the material creation. So Prabhupada even said somewhere here that he was sinless, so that's why he was able to take up this service of the Lord, follow his instruction, and attain the darshan of the Lord. This penance and austerities are severely lacking in our age of Kali Yuga, especially in America. I was talking with the Czech devotees. I took some of them to the store, and they're kind of amazed by American things. The nice service, the nice store, how everything's all laid out. And I try to tell them, it's all bad. You just scratch the surface and go a little deeper, you'll see people are sad, people are spoiled from Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jai. People are spoiled. We've have all these modern amenities that are supposed to make our life easier, which save us much time and energy, but our time and energy is misdirected. We don't know how to use it. So it ends up hurting us more than helping us. When if one is living simple as they live on a farm, then immediately you're more aware of how dependent we are on things above ourselves. You're dependent upon their cows, the grass to feed the cows, the rain, the water, all the plants growing, the sunshine. That's just to name a few important things, but the list could go on and on and on. So nobody performs hardly any austerities for any reason, significant in our society, save for sense gratification. I forget who it was, but somebody was giving a class recently, and he was making the point that you have this thing in your mind, this fascination, this attraction to get something, whether it may be a new relationship, or you're saving for a car, or saving for a house, or whatever it may be. You're so fixed and focused on it, and then you finally get it, like right at that very moment. As soon as you get it, you're not happy. It doesn't do it for you. Immediately you're disturbed in your mind. But when we do austerity, penances to approach Krishna, to please Krishna, Krishna becomes pleased. And Prabhupada, in his purport, he very nicely highlighted that when one does penance for this purpose of serving the Lord out of love, to know the Lord, to reestablish their connection with the Lord, then one develops detachment from worldly enjoyment. And he says this detachment is the result of perfect knowledge. Therefore, the penance of devotional service includes knowledge and detachment, and that is the manifestation of the transcendental potency. Because earlier he said such penance is the internal potency of the Lord and is not different from Him. So this penance that we're able to go through for this purpose of establishing our connection with Krishna is actually Krishna's mercy, His blessing upon us to give us some engagement to do something for Him. Krishna doesn't need anything from us. What's He need from us? He can do anything on His own. Everything. So He gives us service, He gives us engagement so that we can go through the austerities and we can develop love and attraction for Him, because when we do these austerities to please Him, then there's perfect knowledge and detachment coming. Which is really nice when you read more and more of Prabhupada's books. You can really see, how different shlokas are supporting different shlokas of the Bhagavatam or of the Bhagavad Gita, and it's painting like a much broader vision. And similarly here, Prabhupada in his purport, this whole first paragraph is essentially like a purport to this text in the Bhagavatam. What is it? 127 Vasudevi. What is it? How does it start? Yeah, by service to Lord Vasudeva, then knowledge is awakened. From this transcendental knowledge, one becomes detached from worldly enjoyment. And this is a measure that we can use on our spiritual path. How much attraction do I still have for worldly enjoyment? Attraction may remain because we are conditioned souls, and this is so deep-rooted, so we have to be vigilant in following the rules and regulations and maintaining certain Vaishnava etiquette and behavior to prevent us from falling back. But with our advancement in Krishna consciousness, one should see this attraction, this attachment go down. With knowledge, one can slash the notion that material life will bring us any pleasure. Krishna says this at the end of the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Use deliberate spiritual intelligence and conquer this enemy of lust. So we need to hear from the acharyas, from the scripture, and apply it to our lives. We need to process it through our mind, to understand it, to actually see what's going on in the world. We can read and we can read and we can read. And you can ask me, Prabhu, what did you read? And I say, I don't know. This is good. We're reading, we're doing devotional service. But at some point, we have to digest it. It's like if you're taking food and you're just eating and you're eating and you're eating and you're eating and you're not digesting it, you're not processing it. What good is it doing for your body? In Ayurveda, there's a principle that says, people often say, you are what you eat. In Ayurveda, doesn't say you are what you eat. It says you are what you digest. So we have to digest this. And a couple of weeks ago, I remember Maharaj was giving a class and he was speaking on this point where he was saying, we might not even be able to digest it right now, but we continue on. We keep doing our service, we keep reading, we keep hearing, we keep chanting sincerely, we keep praying to Krishna. And Krishna, by His grace, He can give us all the knowledge, all the intelligence to understand. So we continue on as a menial servant, knowing that Krishna is the bestower of these benedictions, such as here. Brahma's performing this austerity. He has no clue how long to do this for, how this will continue, but he sincerely follows it, and then the Lord appears and grants him his darshan and gives him his blessings. So similarly, we have to carry on in the same way, and we just hear and chant for the sake of doing devotional service, because we may not have the taste. I know, coming from a conditioned background, some days taste may seem like it's there, and some days taste may seem super, super, super bitter. This is tough today, dealing with the mind. Chanting, I have to wake up and chant. It seems like I'd be more peaceful if I just stopped and went for a walk today. But we have to continue. We have to continue. This is a devotional service. I was hearing something I found significant recently. Somebody, I forget who, they were speaking about Shravanam Kirtanam, and they were saying that, from the absolute platform, there's no difference from hearing and chanting. Like, it's all service. Like, if you're sitting in a class hearing somebody speak Krishna Katha, and there's someone speaking, from one standpoint, it's like, this Prabhu's the speaker. He's so knowledgeable. He's delivering all this wisdom, But from a absolute platform of devotional service, there's no difference. And I found this significant. Why? Because it can allow us to enter into hearing deeper. That to get rid of the distinction of, this person's better, this person's more knowledgeable, I've been around longer and this person's speaking like this. No, it's service. We're just hearing about Krishna. And I was thinking about this where, if somebody's really fixed in this way, beyond envy, then, there could be like a little kid who's telling me about Krishna, not making his own things up, but what he's heard from a Krishna book or whatever. But he could be talking about Krishna and you could be relishing it just like, anything else, because you're actually absorbed in wanting to hear and please Krishna. So if we approach, Krishna Katha in general in this way, we always take the humble mood and try to extract more nectar. Somebody could speak in front of persons and, imagine a whole crowd of people and everybody's on their phone and, these two people are talking and this person's eating some snacks. It's hard for the speaker to connect with them, and it inhibits how much flow can come. So the more eager we are to hear, especially from seniors, and inquire and really want to listen and really want to hear, then more of Krishna's mercy can flow through, more of this nectar, of this nectarian Krishna Katha. But the more we think, I don't need this person, I don't need to hear, I am advanced, I'm sufficient on my own, it can really block this. So that's just my thoughts on that. Something that we have to practice. It's not always easy. I mean, Prabhupada, when he came here, he was the guru. He was it. Everything that everybody knew came from him. It was clear. Here's a pure devotee, and we surrender to him, and we hear from him, and all of his disciples gather around that. But we may find ourselves in a position where there's some senior devotees, some we like to hear from because we resonate with them, some have this different mood, and then there's devotees on our own level and devotees junior to us. So we need to apply this knowledge, like I said, digest it and understand, so we have a proper understanding of tattva, and then really try to take this humble mood of hearing and chanting as a devotional service, a tapa. What's it say in the Bhagavad Gita, that the brahmachari takes the vow of, he makes the sacrifice of hearing. I mean, this is the way to know Krishna, by hearing. Whatever we know of anything of spiritual life at all, it all came because we heard something. Even if we came through another faith, a religion, or came through impersonalism, we heard about something that struck us in a certain way, but then we ran with it in our own way, and then eventually we think that, I got this on my own, but everything we know actually is coming from hearing. So we have to, continue to lend Krishna our open ear and hear from his devotees. Yes.
Hare Krishna. I just started reading The Living Name by Sachinandana Maharaj, and in the beginning he talks about how to utilize his book. And it's a book about how to become absorbed in chanting the holy names. And he mentions these three processes: Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. And
what are they?
Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. I don't know where he gets it from, but he gives this analogy of how Shravana is like presenting the food and putting it in your mouth. And then Manana is like chewing and swallowing. And then Nididhyasana is digesting. And so Shravana, we're hearing, and then Manana is to deeply contemplate on what we've heard. And then Nididhyasana is to apply, practice, and continue to meditate. So I was reminded of this when you were saying that, when we read and when we hear these topics of or hear Sastra, hear these topics of Krishna, it's really nice to not only just hear and think, oh, that's nice, but also think deeply about what we've just heard, and then just try to learn how could I apply this in my life. And if I can't right now, then that's okay. I can't digest it right now, that's okay. I really like that you brought that point up. And yeah, I really like how you emphasized in Prabhupada's purport of I kind of reworded it in my notes that only through penance and love combined in devotional service can the Lord be pleased. And I also like how you um, were saying that Lord Brahma, he didn't follow this instruction whimsically. He heard it from the Lord. He heard this instruction of practicing penance directly from the Lord. And there's so many times where I myself, and I'm sure a lot of others have thought like, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this austerity because it'll make me a better person, or it just seems like a good thing to do. But it's really nice when we find mentors or we find a spiritual master or teachers that give us certain instruction that works for us, and then we take that seriously because it's for the Lord. At least if we have the right authority that's also following the Lord. And then I had one more thought. I like this point of how you said that we could try to hear from others in a non-envious way with humility, no matter where they are. If they're speaking about Krishna sincerely and humbly, it's we could try to hear it from them, and actually gain something from that and grow together, as opposed to like, oh, that person was initiated later than me, or that person's not even initiated, or that person isn't even like coming to the temple. We can learn so much from others who just receive a book the first day, in this lifetime. So I really like that you brought that point up also, of just trying to hear from one another submissively and kindly. Not that we take instruction from just anybody, but we can. I like that we can be open to one another like that. And then one more thought I had. I just was reminded of, I don't know if it's relevant, but I was reminded of Maharaj's story, Danavir Maharaj, of how when he first went to the LA temple, the first few times he asked for service, and the first time he asked for service, they said, oh yes, go look for this boy named so-and-so. And so he went to find this boy, or he didn't know it was a boy at first, but he went to find this devotee. And he went to this young boy who was cleaning this car, and he said, I'm looking for so-and-so. He says, oh, that's me. And so he's like teaching Maharaj how to clean the cars and all these things. And then he's asking him these philosophical questions. And Maharaj says, well, I think, he says, no, speculating. And Maharaj is so humble, he just accepted that short instruction. That was just one thought I had, or a few thoughts. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
One last thing, you said something, it made me think that when we perform austerities and penance for the Lord, because we're conditioned, we may be doing it and following a pure authority or pure instruction, but because we're not pure and we have contaminations of, ulterior motives that may be very, very subtle, such as name, fame, honor, prestige. I want to cook this nice feast that's so good. Yeah, I want to do it so I could please the Lord, but also I want others to be like, Prabhu, you're the best cook ever. This was amazing. So there'll be purification involved. This can be expected. Krishna will give us this service and slowly or fastly, reveal to us our hidden motives and agendas. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Vanchakapatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.